Hello everybody and welcome back to our lecture series. I'm Ted, your host, and for this lecture we are going to, no, this isn't a lecture, this is a fast fact. Sorry about that. For this fast fact, we're going to look at China during the early 20th century. Now, China had been in a very stressed situation for a very long time. By the time of the Cold War, China had really lost the ability to project power outward, and it suffered a collapse during, well, a string of collapses during the 19th century. Had the European powers and the United States each European power and the United States sought to carve out specific zones, spheres of influence for them to exploit. In the early 20th century, the ancient monarchy that stretched back to before the Common Era collapsed. And what followed was a series of internecine struggles as rival leaders backed by their own private armies, their own individual followers formed armies to fight it out during the 1910s to see who would replace the dethroned emperor. During the 1920s, Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong emerged as the preeminent leaders of the chief rival factions. Now, their rivalry was put on hold as Japan invaded Manchuria in the 1930s, and all the Chinese national forces, the communists and the Democrats, well, really the nationalists is what they call themselves, had the communists and the nationalist forces both saw the greater threat in Imperial Japan. They put their little struggle on hold to fight off the Japanese invader, the Japanese oppressor. And the Japanese invasion is marked by instances such as the Nanking affair, otherwise known as the rape of Nanking, which hit at Japanese war crimes. But as soon as the Japanese threat was neutralized, the nationalists backing Chiang Kai-shek and the communists backing Mao Zedong resumed their war, resumed their struggle. And by the late 1940s, it was clear that Mao was going to emerge victorious. Now, Chiang Kai-shek had been backed heavily by the United States. And at the Yalta Conference, looking back to the fast facts and the lectures detailing the Yalta Conference, Roosevelt had been able to wrangle from Stalin international backing and international recognition for Chiang Kai-shek and his government. With the defeat of Chiang Kai-shek, shocks were sent through American society. From the fall of the European powers, it had been assumed by the United States that China was going to be an American ward. Generations of Americans had grown up and went to their graves with the understanding that China was an American, was a part of the American informal overseas empire. The fact that Mao Zedong had won the Civil War and that Mao Zedong was a communist sent shockwaves through them. Many blamed the problems at home. The fact that that many believed that there was a communist aspiring, sending information, intimate information about the United States government and United States secret weapons programs back to Moscow. Many blamed that, but the loss of China was a devastating blow to them, and it sort of fueled this anti-communist hysteria that would rear its head with McCarthyism. But that is our quick fast fact about China in the 20th century, the early 20th century. I hope you guys found it enlightening, entertaining, hopefully insightful. And as always, hit like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what you guys thought about this fast fact.